Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 4 of our F225 Leo Fornaroli career mode. Yes, we are back this time out ready with the Bahrain feature race. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday with the sprint, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We had a rather good race, but it was Gabriele Mini that took the victory. Kushmini still though at the top of the championship after his win in the feature last weekend. We start inside the top 10 though today, so hopefully we're going to be able to try and pick up some big points. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and yeah, let's head then here back to Bahrain.
Welcome to Sakir and the Bahrain International Circuit, where the grid is forming up ready for today's race. Bahrain represents an exceptional 3.36 miles of racing. Lots of opportunities to overtake throughout its 15 corners. Now, this track has built a reputation for being brutal on the rear tyres, so keep an eye on how these young drivers manage their rubber. Strategy here could ultimately determine the winner of the race. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Pepe Marti lines up on pole position, with Arvid Lindblad alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Miata, Stanek, Oliver Gerfer, Martins, Miney, Fornaroli, Mini, Rafael Villagomez, Esterson, Verschoor, Amory Cordial, Jack Crawford, Bennett, Dunn, Browning, and Joshua Dirksen, Beganovic, Shields, Megatuniv, and Sebastian Montoya completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. It is the Formula 2 race. It is time to introduce you to Alex Brundle. I'm Alex Jakes, and we've got changeable weather out there today. That's making for some nervous team personnel down in the paddock, down in the pit lane.
Well, uncertainty is what strategy's all about, but it absolves the teams from the responsibility of running both compounds of tyre. They might have to use that wet tyre, of course, and then the question is, where do those crossovers lie between the wet and dry conditions?
Well, here we are then down on the grid. Not quite sure what Alex Jakes and Alex Brundle were talking about there. EA, please fix. Because, I mean, it's Bahrain. It never really tends to rain around this venue, does it? Obviously, we know yesterday that the soft compound tyre did about 8 laps. The hard tyre could do 12 laps quite easily. So the team today believe the soft tyre should be able to do about 8 laps. And therefore, I want to start on it. I just would rather be on the quicker tyre early on. Hopefully, we can make some progress and then try to hang on later on in the day. It also means if we get an early safety car, we could be in the money as well. It's a big gamble, though. It's high risk, it's high reward. But let's see what we can do at the start of the race then. Everybody else on the harder compound, it is 5 red lights. Oh, and again, no hold at all. But this time around, we will get a rocket ship launch straight past Victor Martins and Gabriele Mini down in towards turn 1. See Stanek there tucked up behind Arvid Lindblad. So we'll just make our way in towards the middle of the road. In fact, we'll go to the outside line in towards turn 1 there as we try and see if we can get a run off of those first couple of corners. Ollie Gerther struggling a little bit in that MP Motorsport car as Lindblad immediately having to go on the defensive from Ratomo Miata. I mean, look at the amount of extra grip we've got as we make our way up towards the top of the circuit for this opening time then. I mentioned in yesterday's video that if you can get out of the DRS range, you're going to be in a really, really good spot here. And perhaps that's what Campos have tried to orchestrate as we will go down the inside of our teammate Roman Stanek as well then. Up 4 places on this opening lap, but that is exactly what we need to be doing if we want to try and get the best out of this softer compounded tyre. Maybe we'll dive into the pit lane 1 lap early. Maybe we'll be in with everybody else. Only time will tell. But yeah, for Campos at the front of the order, though, that has been the dream start for them. They've held on to that one, too. Ratomo Miata, I believe, was temporarily ahead of Arvid Lindblad early on, but has not been able to stay there as we wind our way back up towards the top of the circuit, though. Again, we've got so much more grip on these softer compounded tyres. That surely we're going to be able to do something against Miata before the end of the lap. And if we can be straight up into the podium places, that would be absolutely fantastic there. Late on the brakes. Got to be careful, though. Still got to try and get these tyres up to scrub. As, yeah, it is going to be Pepe Marti then leading by the end of lap 1. 5 places gained, though, for us. That has been pretty fantastic, as of course now DRS has been enabled, but Marty, I mean, he's basically checked out. I mean, we've just got so much more grip. Well, over Arvid Lindblad there, who I think wanted to defend the inside, but kind of left the door half open there. We'll lock up as we make our way through, though, but up into second place we will go nice and early on. And I mean, for Lindblad, if he wants a chance at fighting for the victory today, it's probably in his best interest, actually, to let me by and hope that he can stick with us inside the DRS range. But all of that squabbling then has given Marty another 7/10 margin up at the front of the order. The only other thing is I might be sacrificing a fastest lap bonus point by using this softer compound early on, because of course as the fuel burns off you really do notice it in these F2 cars. There we go, new fastest lap of the day, mere fractions quicker than Pepe Marti up at the front of the order, but this is exactly what we need to be doing. If we can get back inside that DRS range before we pit, I do think we've got a good chance today, but it will just be about how quick the AI are when they bought on the softs later on. There we go, that again, this time round, not only going, you know, a couple of thousandths quicker than Pepe Marti in front, we go 6/10 quicker than the Campos man there, of course, the Red Bull Junior. Obviously, he's already made it to Formula 1 in our My Team series, but not quite convinced he's going to do it in real life, I'll be honest with you all. But yeah, depending on how well these soft tyres go, we could potentially try to extend them a little bit longer into the race. I mean, if you're a Campos, it must be really, really difficult. I would assume the undercut is going to be quite powerful for the AI. But yeah, one of your drivers is going to have to get screwed over here after they both qualified super well. But come on, we've just got to keep pushing, get inside that range. I don't need to worry about Campos. In fact, if anything, I'm hoping that it's going to be Pepe Marti that has to sacrifice his pit lap. Well, starting lap 6 then, we are getting super, super close to the range of Pepe Marti here. But between us, we have just checked out from the rest of the field. It's getting closer and closer to that pit-in lap. I mean, Arvid Lindblad, he's clearly holding up the rest of the pack, but Ritomo Miata doesn't seem like he can really do anything about it at this stage of the GP. But, yeah, like I said, we want to be in the range of Pepe Marti by the time we pit. So I don't know which of those Red Bull Juniors down at Campos would get the choice to box first here, as we try and shut the car through the exit of Sector 1. Come on, we've just got to get within 1 second before these tyres begin to fade. It will happen. I don't know when, but it certainly will. Pretty certain yesterday Luke Browning's best lap was about a 10th quicker than mine, but of course he had a lot less fuel in the tank towards the end of that one. But finally now then, we've got the DRS on Pepe Marti just in front. Breaking down in towards turn 1, still got to take it nice and easy through those opening couple of corners. But yeah, now we're going to be able to try and apply the pressure. I think we will still dive in at the end of the next lap. As you can see now, Roman Stanek a bit further behind, getting involved in a battle as well there. We need our teammate to try and do some good in the Constructors. But yeah, obviously Campos, I would have thought they're going to be a big threat. Can never really count out Prema, can you, in Formula 2, and ART as well. Ritomo Miata and Victor Martin. This is a very, very tasty lineup inside this series, but Marty's still trying to hang on up at the front of the order for now. So I definitely believe this gamble has worked, even if we can't try and stay ahead of Marty or get ahead of Marty by the end of the afternoon. A 5-second gap back to Lindblad. Surely we'll be able to hang on to that. Here we go then. Are we going to be able to get a run on Pepe Marti back in towards turn 1 as we get to half distance?
Pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
Team 1 is in at the end of this lap then, so Marti, he knows track position here could be super important by the time we get back out onto the circuit. He will defend that inside line there in turn 1, as we just could not quite get the car slowed down to go for the switchback. Might be able to get a run though up in towards turn 4, as gaining on the Spaniard again. He just moves defensive ever so slightly, and I'm trying to channel my inner Leo Fornaroli here. Oh, we've got yellows further back, and if that's a red flag, that could be an utter disaster there. There's loads of cars involved. Seems to have been a spinner then. I think that might be an MP Motorsport car. So I'm pretty certain I've got safety cars and stuff enabled inside this series, but maybe in F2 they just don't want to enable them unless they absolutely have to. Looks like everybody has been able to find a way back through then, so racing has resumed. But that does basically mean that I think our top 10 have got a huge gap now over everybody else there. As through the final corner, will Pepe Marti dive into the pit lane? Yes, he will. So I'm going to stay out one more lap then here today and try and work the overcut on the Campos driver. It will take a little bit to fire up those cold tyres again. Of course, these will be the first pit stops of the season for most crews. But unfortunately, yeah, of course, that might not help our teammate Stanek, who's only 7 seconds back. So I've got to keep pushing on this lap to try and make sure that I don't hold him up. Well, by the end then of lap 9, we have really used up everything that this soft compound tyre had available to us. As all, we run very wide through the final corner. Tyre wear warning light flashing up. But we did go green in sector 1, so goes to show just how much speed this car did still have in it. I was hoping that maybe Pepe Marti would get held up into some traffic, but I don't think that's quite happened here, as hopefully the team will give us a nice tidy stop. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There goes Arvid Lindblad. Let me go. Not fantastic, I don't think, but not too bad either. As there goes Ratomo Miata, of course, into his box as well then, so I don't think we've held up Stanek too badly. As out of the final corner comes Pepe Marti then. This second half of the race, even if we are in front, is going to be brutal to try and manage it with the tyre offset. But look at that then, the overcut has worked for us. Like I said, of course, trying to get the temperature into the tyres is not easy on that outlap. But of course, yeah, with Marti right behind us still, we're going to have to deal with that pain as well. Making our way up the hill. Will he immediately be able to try and capitalise? I don't think he can. So this is critical for our race. There isn't a huge tyre offset, but it's definitely noticeable enough. And of course, now for the AI, obviously with less fuel, everything like that, you'd expect to feel that offset a lot more. We have got slightly fresher tyres than Pepe Marti, but really I'm clutching at straws a little bit. Well, there you go, then goes to show how much quicker those fresh set of soft compound tyres are. John Bennett claims a new fastest lap of the day. It's Joshua Dirksen able to go even faster in his AIX car, but we're already now holding up Pepe Marti quite a lot by the time we get up towards the top of the circuit, and that is allowing Arvid Lindblad just to close back in rather rapidly. We know the first couple of laps will be the worst. That'll be where the AI have the biggest advantage, but they will have the speed right the way through to the end. We've got both Campos now and both ARTs closing in on me, but we've still got another 5 laps after this one. Arvid Lindblad then, he worked as the wingman early on, but I'm sure late on in the day, he will be on to the radio to Campos, suggesting that maybe Pepe Marti led him through and let him try to attack us here, as we might end up going 3 wide in towards turn 1. I'm just defending the inside line as best as I can. You can see the DRS works here, but it's not hugely overpowered, as just getting a little bit of understeer through turn 1. Trying to get around the outside though through turn 2 there, just like keep the car inside track limits. And now we are the one with DRS as we make our way up the hill. Saw Rafael Villagomez keep using this yesterday. As Arvid Lindblad, he doesn't try to get 1 spot, he tries to get 2. Almost 3 wide there, up through the top of the circuit, but Lindblad will make it through and up into P1 there. Late on the brakes for the British driver as we make our way down the hill. Accidentally, this was not where I wanted to go. I'm so sorry, Lindblad. Just completely locked up the fronts there, and that was not very Leo Fornaroli-esque. Just completely diving our way back through to try and hang on to the lead of this race. That, like I said, was not my intention. We just had to go to the inside line. It was either that or I go straight through the back of him. Still, though, those Campos cars side by side just behind me, I think we didn't give Lindblad any front wing damage, so he's definitely still in this fight, as he will make it back through then and up into second place once more. But now Ratomo Miata is right there as well. But again, trying to move to the inside line there. Very, very aggressive. Trying to break the toe. We can be a little bit cheeky with it. Maybe we're just trying to warm up the tyres. You never quite know on the run back in towards turn 1. But that time round, Lindblad is he not quite able to get close enough to us here, as I think Marti really beginning to struggle now. Looks like Ratomo Miata now trying to attack him out of the first couple of corners. So I think this battle could now end up being between Lindblad and myself as we make our way back up the circuit in towards turn 4. But yeah, we've held on once again then from Arvid Lindblad for now. But I'm sure, yeah, if he senses an opportunity, he will return the favour with that aggressive dive bomb we made. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him. If we could somehow hang on to this by the end, it would be one of the most defensive drives of my life. Lindblad, though, I think he's just taken a lap or so just to make sure that he's still got the speed in that car. Nothing is wrong with it on the whole, as here comes Lindblad this time around. He's going to get a much bigger run on me in towards turn 1. I will still try and force him out to the outside. We will still try and just go slightly later on the brakes there as all. Lindblad trying to turn in on me in towards that first corner as Miata thought about trying to get a run as well. Can we get the power down though up the hill and maybe get a run back on the Campos man here? We'll swing to the outside as we make our way up towards the top of the circuit. But Lindblad now maybe has done it again there. Up through the top of the circuit we go. We are still technically wheel to wheel. And Lindblad there does give me the room, but he parks it on the exit of the chicane there. Knew he would have to if he wanted to try and get the run down the hill and not open up the run for myself once again. Lindblad through though, and you can see that grip he's got off of that corner. Like I said, those soft compound tyres, they won't really fall off by the end of this race, so just trying to be super smooth with it and hope, of course, that with the DRS we can stick with him and maybe we're going to run back in towards T1. Making our way then out of the final turn, but you can just see Lindblad able to gain so much time on me as I think we've got a car breaking down. That looks to be a Trident. I don't believe it's Sammy Megatunif. Trying to remember who is the other driver. Max Esterson, of course, yes. Out then of this race, so disappointment for him later on in the afternoon. That's what I just hear there from Mark telling me that we're losing time to the car behind, but I'm not interested in them at the moment. I'm interested in that car in front of me. Lindblad, though, as long as he's got kind of 5-6 tenths of a second, he'll be able to get a slightly better run off the corners and will be able to hang on here as we make our way up through the top of the circuit once again, diving down through the S's. You can see how much that kind of curve we're willing to take to try and get a run here. I think he is beginning to struggle just a little bit. Maybe now we're starting to see the tyres come back in our favour once more as we make our way down the hill. Could those laps of defensive driving potentially make the difference here? Not with lines like that, it won't, as we just get a little bit caught out over the curb once again. But Miata waiting in the wings if something is to happen between ourselves and Arvid Lindblad towards the end of this race. Both of these drivers moving up from F3 last year, but it was the Italian that got the better of the British driver come the end of the season. Making our way up into Sector 3 though, again trying to maximise the track width as best as we can. And look at that, I've gone green in Sector 1 and green in Sector 2. These hard tyres actually coming alive towards the end of this feature race there. A little bit of a wobble through the final corner there as we just snagged the inside wheel, and Lindblad again just immediately tries to check out on the run in towards turn 1. Will we be under pressure from Rotoma Miata? We're now finally getting a bit more of the slipstream effect from Lindblad just in front of me. Nice and tidy on the brakes we go down in towards turn 1. Really attack the curbing through turn 2 as we make our way back up the hill once again. I cannot give Miata an opportunity to try and have a look past us here. We've just got to try and pray that maybe we'll have the speed there as all. Lindblad makes a huge mistake up towards the top of the circuit. Could that open the door for us? To the inside we will go. Lindblad gives me a big old squeeze and we'll try and hang on to the spot for now. I can't go for another dive bomb like that down at the hairpin. But Lindblad maybe now beginning to struggle on those soft compound tyres there. The pressure of a first Formula 2 victory maybe getting to him as well as we make our way down through turn 9 and turn 10 there. We've got to try and get a good run off the corner, which we have done. Will there be any more opportunities though around the rest of this lap? You've really got to be within half a second if you want to get the full effect of the slipstream there, as Lindblad again gets the back end of that Campos car sideways up the hill. One more mistake this lap and that could be game over for him. But at the moment, he has still got track position, and that is the most important thing there. Nice and early on the power as we make our way down. One more corner to go of this F2 feature race here in Bahrain. I don't think we're close enough to do it unless Lindblad makes another error trying to get the power down. He will not. Arvid Lindblad out of the final corner. He and Campos get their first victory of the season.
Yes, and that's a podium. Excellent drive. The whole team have worked especially hard this weekend, and that, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
What a performance this has been from Arvid Lindblad, who takes the checkered flag to win.
Alex, it's so hard when you've had a mental knock to recover and take victory like that, especially at this level. Brilliant stuff.
It's time to present the top drivers in the race with their trophies. There are so many people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Campos on the top step.
Well, there we are then at the end of the race. It is Arvid Lindblad who just hangs on to claim the victory there. A brilliant drive from him, especially after kind of that defensive driving early on to try and help out his teammate Pepe Marti. That one mistake right at the end, though, I thought we could have a look, but he did defend it pretty beautifully from myself there. But 2 second-place finishes this weekend means that, we're picking up good steady points in the World Championship, and hopefully, obviously, we will have been the top scorer here. Rotoma Miata, a brilliant drive to third ahead of Pepe Marti. Goethe ahead of Martins, and yesterday's winner Gabriele Mini in P7. Ahead of Kushmaini, Roman Stanek, and Rafael Villagomez rounding out your top 10. John Bennett narrowly misses out on his first points of the year ahead of Dirksen, and you can see it was just Max Esterson that failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our World Championship? Well, it means, Lindblad now at the top of the table, thanks to 2 feature race podiums for him. Kushmaini still in second, and we are now up to third, ahead of Martins and Mini as well there. Goethe, Miata, Browning, Martin, Dirksen inside your top 10. There is Roman Stanek down in P13, and still a lot of drivers yet to score. Crawford, Bennett, Dunn, Esterson, Vashaw, Kean Shields there, Sebi Montoya, Megatunif, and Dino Boganovic as well. Constructors-wise, Campos now jumped to the top of the table, 5 points clear of ART. Invicta, we move up to third ahead of Dams with Prema and MP Motorsport there. Just Trident yet to score, and honestly wouldn't surprise me if they don't all year. Esterson and Megatunif, not exactly the greatest F2 lineup we have ever seen. Quickly though as well, just having a look at the overall weekend points, we did score the most of anybody, despite not getting a single bonus point there, so goes to show that, consistency will pay dividend over the course of the campaign. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 2 returns ready out in Jeddah.